Is this too much SUV for the wife? I only ask that because this is a performance package on the RST and it's pretty cool. I borrowed this Tahoe from Jerry Seiner Chevrolet here in Salt Lake City. It is available for sale. Let's go ahead and check out the window sticker so you guys can see what comes with this package. At the very top is the description, and here are the colors and short listing for your standard equipment. Be sure to pause it to see more. Base price is $67,300, and you guys can see that first package is the RST Performance Edition for $8,965. Now, nothing really pops out that says performance on this side, but when you get over to this side, check out all the nice features. So they upgrade the wheels. You have high performance suspension. It does look lower too. Air intake system, catback exhaust, Brembo brakes, sport pedal. So yes, a lot of nice upgrades on this Tahoe. $2,500 for that 6.2 liter, and then here is your total price including destination. And then here are the fuel economy numbers right here. It definitely does look like a performance SUV, especially when you look at the front grille. It's all blacked out, including the bow tie. They do have a camera on the front because this has the 360 camera view. LED headlights, turn signals, and on the bumper, you guys see there, air does flow through and exits through the wheel well here. Front parking sensors, active grille shutters, and let's check out the suspension really quickly. So this is a performance suspension. Now it doesn't look special. Normally you see red coils or something like that, but I believe that they lowered the Tahoe, and that control arm does have some reinforcement down below. That shock does say BWI group. I would have to pull another Tahoe to see if there's any differences, but upper control arm is like a forged aluminum. The steer knuckle is aluminum too. And then you guys saw that these tires were an upgrade. So these are the Firestone, and they're called Firehawk. Never heard of these. These are Pursuit tires. So this is like a police edition more or less. And you guys can see that big brake caliper right there. 20-inch wheels. Let's go on the other side and check out the brakes. So here's a better look at those brakes. Most likely 4-piston. You guys can see that suspension a little bit better too. But yeah, the main purpose of this video is to drive it. So I don't want to take too much time. I want to show you guys some of the upgrades here. As I said, you can clearly tell that this thing sits lower. I love the blue color too. Check out the sway bar right there. Wow. They do paint the rear calipers. And this is going to be a single piston, upgraded exhaust system, and independent rear suspension. They are still giving you a donut style spare tire though. Love the quad exhaust in the rear. And if you don't know, you can pop this glass open with this button. Decent storage behind the third row seat, and those seats are power for the third row. Oh my goodness. They have a true intake system on this 6.2 liter V8. Now I looked online because it's hard to imagine this not having any gains. I'm willing to bet you're going to probably get about 20 horsepower gain with this intake, and maybe the catback exhaust, maybe. Now if it had headers and yeah, maybe high flow cats, that's probably like another 30 to 40 wheel horsepower with a tune. But with that being said, 420 horsepower is what it shows online, 460 pound-feet of torque, 321 rear end, and it has a 10-speed transmission. Let's go ahead and take this bad boy for a drive. I just put the Tahoe in sport mode. It doesn't have an active exhaust, but I figured maybe as we're driving, maybe the sport mode might help it to open up a little bit more, right? So let's go ahead and start it up. Not bad. It's not loud. I think if you're wanting something a little bit more sportier, but you don't want it to be like obnoxious, this is not obnoxious. As I said outside, headers, high flow cats, or no cats obviously, would just make this thing super loud. So I'm gonna go down the street first, and then we will just take it on the highway as well. I want to get a feel for the suspension too. Oh wow, the brakes, whoa! Oh yeah, these are big brakes for sure. Wow. They're almost a little touchy if you're not used to them. Oh yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I just hit them too hard, but they work really good though. I can't tell that it's any lower than the regular Tahoe. Maybe I have to drive one back to back, but for sure it does feel just a little bit more nimble at lower speeds. And actually, that 6.2 liter is just a little bit more, I could tell. Wow, it's like low in torque city right now. Let me let this truck go by. I'm gonna give it a little bit of acceleration off this strip here. Right, here we go. Oh yes. Okay, not bad. Not bad at all, actually. Yeah, the suspension feels a little bit more nimble. And wow, that intake is helping a lot on that low end torque. It just kind of just gives you that quick response there. Let's do it like at 5 miles an hour. One more time. Watch this. Yeah, it is really, really responsive. Man, this is nice. I actually want a Tahoe now. You can't beat that V8 sound. Every SUV truck in the full-size segment is going to a twin-turbo V6, and although those engines are more efficient, they don't have that sound. So that's what sucks about this new age, I guess, you know? That's the only thing. So I'm really impressed by the way this engine responds. Let's take it out on the highway. This is the perfect catback exhaust. There's no drone whatsoever. Let me just downshift it really quickly. Put it in manual mode. I can actually hear the engine over the exhaust. You don't really hear it that much inside the interior. So if you're worried about it droning or just being too loud, that won't be the situation with this. But having the lower stance too, it handles really good. Like just going around the curve here, like I can definitely tell how planted it is. This is the fun Tahoe, I would say. If you're tired of getting a high country or a Premier or whatever trim level you like to get, maybe you've had the Z71 package and you just want something a little bit sportier, this is it right here. The brakes, let's hit them. Oh my, yeah, they, wow. That was only like maybe 20% down. But yeah, you have a little bit wider tire, so that's gonna really help. And that's the thing too, like if you live in an area where you do have like a lot of rolling hills, this might actually be a little bit more fun to drive too. Like this thing is super nimble for sure. There's really no body roll. When you hit the bumps, like the dampening is very precise. Like it feels like a sports car. And this is a heavy SUV too. You guys will see that here in a second. There's a little bit of road noise, which is typical. Like I can hear it like around the windows. But yeah, there's no noise from the exhaust. I don't think you hear the intake really from inside the cabin either. I'm not picking that up in here. But it's a factory tuned sport SUV. So a lot of the soul is taken away because they still have to make it livable day to day. I did take it out of the sport mode, by the way. There's no difference in how it sounds, by the way. But when you're cruising on a highway, this 6.2 liter, it does have that active fuel management, so it will actually, or is it DFM, dynamic fuel management? So it will drop down to 4 cylinders if you're just cruising. I did reset the trip too. We're at 16 MPG. So, and I haven't done the 0 to 60 yet. You know we're gonna do that. I definitely want to see if there's a difference there. Really quickly, I wanted to show you guys the interior. This one is dressed up pretty nicely. You guys can see some of the sportier accents on the seats, the graphics here. And as you guys saw on the window sticker, those are your sport pedals down below. It says Chevrolet there. Some of the driving modes and lighting controls. Power steering column. Then you have the screens here and there. No ventilated seats, however, but you do have a heated steering wheel. You have 2 USBs, a 12-volt plug right there, a little bit of storage on the side, and all this is soft touch at the very top there. And this has a nice design to it as well. And this one has the bucket seats out back. And then you have 3 across in the rear. No sunroof, but you have the black headliner. LED lighting for the interior. Home links right there. And then your vanity on both sides have a mirror with lights. We're at the midpoint. You guys see right there? 19.5 MPG. So again, I have not done any hard acceleration since we left the dealership. So with that being said, here's the 0 to 60.
30. 60.
That wasn't bad for the 0 to 60. This is a naturally aspirated V8. We are about 4,700 feet above sea level. So I would say under 8 seconds is decent. I want to say you probably lose about 1 to 2 seconds at this elevation, in that ballpark. The roads are kind of rough. Yeah, this is not a good spot. The exhaust, you can hear the exhaust, like now that I've been kind of like listening for it, it's there, but it's not bad. I feel as though when they do a redesign on the Tahoe, if they want to add an exhaust system to these, they could just do an active exhaust. That way you don't have to hear that sound, because most people aren't going to want to hear this, right? $65. 66 by the window. And then 63 out back. It's definitely quiet for a full-size SUV, even with that little hump from the exhaust. I can definitely tell that the exhaust is there though. I'm going to 75 miles an hour. I'm at about 1,700 or 1,600 RPMs. Call that 1,600 RPMs. That's 75 miles an hour. And this is going to be the loudest because you're probably in final drive, obviously. And so now at that point, the RPMs are going to just maintain a little bit higher. But it's there. It's not loud though. It's not loud at all. If you want to pop open that rear tailgate, you can do it from inside the driver's seat or passenger front seat. And they have ample space with a little bit of storage out back. We pretty much ended off at 17.9 MPG. The stop-start function works really good with this as well. But let's go ahead and end off the video. You guys saw this thing performs good. The dampening on the suspension is great as well. I definitely recommend you guys test this out. This is probably one of my favorite test drives I've had in a while with an SUV. This feels like a nimble sport SUV, and this is not even a high performance one. It just has a different exhaust, a different intake system. It's a little bit lower. The dampening on the suspension is great, but the brake feeling in here is very, very, very confident. I think that if you live in an area like this where you have highways and you have like those really curvy off ramps, like that's where this is fun. You can really tell how nimble it is. And it does sit a little bit lower. I think now that I've sat in it for a little bit, I can tell it sits a little bit lower because looking at this Blazer here, I kind of feel like I'm almost at the same height as it. Lastly, I didn't show you guys the numbers, but here are your axle ratings and gross vehicle weight rating at 7,500 pounds, 20/9 wide wheels. And then here is the trailering information. So 7,600 pound towing capacity and 1,663 pounds of payload. And here's that tire pressure. And I didn't really mention this, but you guys see how they deleted the roof rails on here too? I guess to make it a little bit more aerodynamic. But I hope you guys liked the video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Check out Jerry Seiner's inventory and let him know you saw the video. See you guys soon.